your average worship leader, if you're not Brandon Lake, who's on every record because he's so amazing, if you're not at that level, I'm not exaggerating, it's impossible to make money off your music.
Want to share your Lauren Daigle story?
Oh, well, come here.
That'd be kind of fun.
Come here.
This way. Come this way.
Come right here. Lauren Daigle's first tour. Look at us. There
I've worked in the Christian music world, and I love Christian music, and I love the impact it has on people's lives. But I don't think many people understand the business of it.
Let your kingdom come here. Let this be a representation of your kingdom. Let this be the place. Like, I give it all to you. And I pray that day after day, and then
just like one of those cool things where you're like, yeah, we're taking a risk together, we're diving in, we're creating together, like I was at 13. I
go through different seasons of life. Sometimes I'm angry, sometimes I'm sad, sometimes I'm super pumped. Like, is all that not worship? Every Toby Mac record from 2000 till recently was here. Right. It was all recorded here. He was doing vocals in my cry room. He was rejoicing, I was crying. So our goal is to create that community where people can be seen, people can, the stay-at-home mom has a place here to record her song to God. She doesn't have to go on the road. We can put that song out. Like, that's what we're after.
This is.
Internal. It's internal.
It's internal.
All right, well, welcome to the Salty Christians YouTube channel. I am about ready to have a really fun, probably one of my funnest episodes yet. I'm at... Ooh, no pressure.
Real Fun Records! There's our logo.
There we go. How is that for an intro?
I was definitely not expecting to yell.
No, dude, I loved how it spun around. It made me excited. It went, shoot, and I was like,
We're on.
Yeah.
So this is Chris. This is Jesse.
What's up?
Crazy. And I got to give a shout out to the
Seattle Seahawks.
Go Hawks.
I've got one also.
Oh.
We're
I do not.
In good company.
So this is Real Fun Records. I guess, well, there's a lot of stuff I want to talk about. Maybe we'll let's talk about the vision of Real Fun. I want to jump right into it because I just love what you guys are doing. I've worked in the music world for a while, and what you guys are trying to do is give artists a different platform to get their music out there. So a more fair and equitable way, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Man, this dude knows everything.
Yeah.
So in 2020, all my best friends are musicians, like bass players, guitar players. I mean, these are the people I'm doing life with. I'm a worship songwriter, so that's how I got into that club with all these guys. But these guys were like top of the food chain when it comes to guitar players or drummers or bass players. And two in particular texts that I got during that season were like, bro, I literally don't know how I'm going to pay my bills. Like, I don't know how I'm going to make it this month. I don't know, like, what the future holds with, I can't tour right now. And it hit me in that moment that, wait a minute. Like, I've seen thousands of people doing your guitar riff online. How do you have $0 from that? And so we started doing the math, just asking, like, how much do you normally get paid to play in a song? And there's two ways to do it. Some people get a day rate where it's like $1,000, but they got to record 10 songs. Or it's usually a favor for a friend. And what we found is that it's somewhere around $100. So all of the music that you hear on the radio, they've only gotten $100. They don't own any of it after that point. It could be
a #1 radio hit.
Oh, yeah. And they sign a thing called a work for hire. That's the way the industry has worked. That made me angry. Now, on the artist side, which is a side that I've been on, slightly different deal. So I'll have to explain it from somebody that a typical deal is an artist will come to a record label. They say, I got songs. The record label's like, oh, we're interested. We want to put those songs out. So we'll advance you $50,000 so you can make your record. Now, an advance sounds cool, right? It's like, oh, you're going to give me $50,000 to make my record. And now me and you, like if we were like bros hanging out and we were going to split it up, we'd probably not go the way they actually do it, which is the label says, we'll loan you 50 grand to make 10 songs. In return, we'll keep 85% of everything. You don't get paid until you pay back the $50,000. But you pay back with your 15% of the song. So the math is, you get an advance for $50,000 to make a 10-song record. The label, assuming they don't throw you a release party or take you out to eat and add those numbers, the label just off of the advance will make $333,333.33 before the artist even makes a penny. What does that mean? It means artists never recoup, they never make money. Especially in the worship world, where it's just not that big of a, like, you can't stream 333,000 off of 10 songs. Typically, you have to be a big artist. You have to have a whole machine behind you. So for us, that felt so unfair. And for me personally, I just decided I'm going to sell every song I wrote. So I took I'd written some songs that people were singing, like Your Love Never Fails and Yes and Amen. And I was like, I'm going to sell it back to Capitol. I'm going to take $1 million and I'm just going to buy a studio, because in my mind, the only thing in between me and my buddies making and keeping all the reward of the music were these guys giving out dumb loans called advances. And
well, I think in your Kickstarter video, you even called it kind of a predatory loan.
Oh, that's
what it is.
It's what it is.
Dave Ramsey would go on a rant. You got to get Dave Ramsey on this.
What kind of crap is that?
Dude, it's a predatory loan.
That's fantastic.
So I sold my catalog and bought this studio to be like, this is where we can make music. Now, having said that, I had no idea how to run a record label. Zero.
You know how to have fun.
I know how to have fun, yes. Yeah. I got the fun part and the real fun, but not the records part. And I was in here, like, I had vision for what it could be. Like, it should be easy to make music and share. And it shouldn't be that complicated. And I was literally crying in that ISO booth, which we'll do a tour. I'll show you my little cry room. I was crying every day. I didn't know what I got myself into. I had no plan to move forward, and was just praying that God would, if this is your will, let your kingdom come here. Let this be a representation of your kingdom. Let this be the place. I give it all to you. And I'd pray that day after day, and then just invite friends to come over, and I'd barf out the vision at them. Hey, we can make music for free because I have a studio now, and it costs $0. And one of those guys that I invited to come over and look at a brand new amp that I'd gotten, I was trying to make him come over.
Well, yeah, the bass amp.
Yeah,
the
so I bought a B15 bass amp from 1966 and texted Jesse,
bro, come look at your new amp. Come play music in my studio, bro.
And he came over, we sat down, and that first day I realized that Jesse had already built a record label called Hill City and was already on the back end.
Got that vision.
On the back end, had already started to support, how do we distribute local churches? How do we organize rights with local churches? And our visions just went and came into alignment almost perfectly. We were talking about it yesterday. Every time we get into what I would call an argument where we're fighting over, well, does it seem fair if we do that? Or should we do it this way? We always come to the same conclusion, because I feel like we're doing the hard work of actually saying what's the best way forward. But I honestly couldn't do it without Jesse, and Jesse is the brains. So you should probably turn the camera cool. Jesse, take over, my dude.
Yeah. I don't know. What do you want to know? You want to go on a tour? We can talk more about this.
Yeah, we'll talk. I'll kind of jump in here too. So I've worked in the Christian music world, and I love Christian music, and I love the impact it has on people's lives. But I don't think many people understand the business of it. And it is a big business, and there's a lot of money to be made.
A whole lot. And none of it's going to the people that make the music.
And that's what I think I think when people see this, they'll be like, well, wait a second, that's not right. But also, the other thing that, and this maybe doesn't pertain as much, but the idea of a corporation that doesn't hold our values owns a lot of this music.
Right. And they in fact do own the master.
Yeah.
And
well, explain master. So that's insider record label talk.
okay,
What's a master mean?
Master used to be an actual physical like record where they would print. Yeah, it would look like that. Actually, it would look metal like that.
Look like that. Yeah.
And the master was what they would use to press the other records. That master was the original recording, if you will. Sometimes it'd be in that form, and then it moved to reel-to-reel tape form. 2-inch tape, I think, was the standard. Back in like early 2000s, almost all of the masters burned up in LA. Everything Universal owned burned up. So now master is not what it used to be. Master now is just a copy of the song.
The original copy, probably, or.
Well,
These days
but what do you
all
call
digital.
it? It's all digital.
It's
What
like
do you even call the
It's
original?
It's a WAV file.
It fits.
So they give it a number. They give it a number, and that number is the master ID number. And the master is what would be, in past days, the original copy. And these days would be the original, like when we get our, here's the mastered version, which means they made it perfect. Yeah.
Well, and so like the master, so for example, if there's a song that one of these big companies doesn't like, they own it. So they could say, take it down off of
they
YouTube,
could do that.
take it off of Spotify, whatever. That hasn't happened, but I think...
But it could.
It's the reality, like we live in a culture now that some, Christian beliefs are being criticized and going, oh, that's not loving or this or that, and let's take that song down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
You can take songs down for any number of reasons too, where it's like, they have the master rights and distribution ownership and all that. Yeah.
and it's not fear mongering. It's just like, hey, as the church, we can do this better.
Well,
we can do this music industry better.
You've said exactly what we always say, which is we're not against labels. What we are is we're pro a new way of doing things.
Yeah.
Pro an equitable way of doing things.
Yeah.
Now, there is a way to make money with labels. If you're Ariana Grande, you can make money with a label. But you're making so much money, it doesn't matter.
Really matter.
But for your average worship leader, if you're not Brandon Lake, who's on every record because he's so amazing, if you're not at that level, I'm not exaggerating, it's impossible to make money off your music. That's why you have to go on the road. And when people go on the road, and when they have to be on the road nonstop to support their family, what happens to the family? The family falls apart. So what you end up with is a bunch of poor bass player dads with broken families. And all they ever wanted to do was serve God by playing bass. They, at 12 years old, were practicing worship bass lines because they wanted to use their gift for God. And the only way they could use their gift for God was to do this route that the record label industry has made for them. And it only results in broken families and them having to start over. That's not right. That's not kingdom. That's not the people of God taking care of each other. That's wrong. It's usury, and it is predatory.
I've got a buddy, you guys know him, but we've been talking recently, and he tours a lot with big name artists. And he's like, Matt, I just want to, and his wife is a musician, and they've got young kids, they're like, it's fun maybe for one season to go in the RV with the family, but like now it's, he goes on tour with another artist, and then she has to go on tour, and they're separated, and it's like, this isn't the life that they want, and trying to figure out like, what are other ways we can make money? Because again, to your point, they're not making money off the music. They have to go tour.
You can't. It's impossible. But there is a better way. And that's what we've spent a year and a half, the two of us, since that first meeting. Within, I think that was like midweek, that first meeting. The next week we met every day and have been in here every day. Except for the holidays. We took a little break for Christmas. But we've been in here 5 days a week wrestling over what would it look like if you tore the whole industry down to nothing and rebuilt it. And what it looks like is that artists are not enslaved to a loan. We're giving artists 30% instead of 15% and no recouping. So then
And
you
explain
go.
recouping real quick, just for the people who aren't.
Well, recouping is
It's
you
paying back
pay
a loan.
back
Yeah.
that advance that's supposed to feel cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I got advance.
It's also paying back, if the record label decides to fly you all over the country to visit
oh, yeah.
radio stations.
Yeah. And
that
pay all
wraps
that
up.
back.
Yeah. So it's not just the $50,000 loan, it's the
Well, they'll
the
keep
steak-
adding as
the
much
steak
as they
dinner.
want.
Yeah.
Because for them, every time they take you out on a steak dinner and you pay it back at 15%, they're going to make, what, 4 times whatever the steak dinner was. I mean, that sounds horrible. It's true.
Yeah.
It's not a joke.
And I can speak from personal experience. Like, I've worked at the labels and I've gone on those dinners, and we're all younger. You're not thinking like that. You're not thinking, wow.
Well, and these guys aren't evil. Like, the guys at the labels
Totally.
are cool.
And so much of it's relationships. So,
Yeah.
like, a lot of these steak dinners are with people who could help your career.
Right.
But it is, you kind of get on the hamster wheel of, well, and the thing that when I first heard about this, that I was excited about was, I've also seen many artists who, you have one hit song, and then you got to keep on doing that same style. But you're not doing something that God called you to. You're doing something because you got to pay off that
And
loan.
this guy gets it. This guy gets it.
He gets it.
He gets it.
But and the name of this channel is the Salty Christians. Like, I want to inspire. Like, I love that you guys are being salt and light in an industry that is doing a predatory loan. And trying to figure out what are ways that we can. As Christians, we should be innovating, and we can do it better. And so
the typical producer in a typical deal gets 4% of the song.
Okay.
They also have to pay back a loan, but I won't get too
Really?
deep into it.
See,
It's
I'm
weird.
learning that.
They have to pay back the actual recording budget, which would be less than 50 grand.
Yeah.
Whatever. They get a loan too. It's dumb. It's like a double loan. They're making double money off 2 different people.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 whatever. They make 4% is normally like what a good producer would get. In our world, the drummer makes at least 4%. The bass player makes at least 4%. The keys player is making 4%. The producer's making 8 to 10%. There's plenty of money to go around. So in saying that we can bring an artist and give them 30%, that's already the best deal in town. But on top of that, to know that 45% of the rest of that money is going directly to your best buddies who are playing on the record.
Yeah.
Because these are your friends. That's why they're playing on your record. So the idea that it's more than just a better deal for an artist. It's a better community all around. It's the book of Acts, the church, I don't know how to play bass. He brings his bass skill. I bring my singing skill, and he brings his guitar skill. We all take risks together, and if it wins, everybody wins.
The risk is $100. Like, for me, as like a bass player,
Right.
You're getting a day rate. I mean, even $500 to play on 5 songs. You're like, all right, well, that's $100 a song, and that's my risk is $100 on this song or one day. And what's the upside? Like, the upside is huge.
And if it does succeed, then everyone wins.
Totally. And like, I win, you win, we all, It's
Well,
so great.
and risk is such a weird word because name one fun thing you would like to do today. I'd love to make music with my friends. That's fun. So wait, you're telling me the risk is I have fun with my friends and we don't make money? I already don't make money.
Yeah.
So
It's more risky for you not to have fun and do something that God's called you to, and then, be inspired.
Yeah.
Instead of
so
trying
that's
to make your sound to the system, and Well, let's get a tour of this place real quick, and I've got other questions, but
well, walk this way.
talk this away.
This is a coffee making area.
Hey, we do get beans, and we'd like to shout out our bean roaster, Highbrow. He makes us beans specifically for Real Fun Records.
Is it the Real Fun Records?
Roast.
Yeah, real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can people buy it online?
No,
Not yet.
you can
Not
get
yet.
it right here.
Right here. So
We'll
thank
show them this video though. It might go online
If it goes
soon.
viral, if this
Yeah.
video goes viral, we'll make
Hey.
a Real Fun Records
Yeah.
roast. Has this got a story to it?
well, it's an organ donor.
Yeah, we had an organ donor.
I didn't know I was going to get bad jokes.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
So we'll start back here. Benny Martinez plays for Lauren Daigle.
Benny Martz.
This is his room back here. We do writes, and it's his space whenever he's around, but we do writing and meetings, all sorts of fun stuff in here. And he's one of the best guitar players in the freaking world.
Yeah,
and so
genuinely is.
he's got all his stuff in here, and I drool every time I look at it. So there's that. Speaking of guitar stuff.
Daigle.
Yeah, do you want to share your Lauren Daigle story?
Oh, well, come
That
here.
would be kind of fun.
Come here.
This way. Come this way.
Come this way. Come this way.
There's an amp closet in there too.
Oh, yeah. This right here. Lauren Daigle's first tour. Look at us. There
So
she
young.
is. There I am. There's Dan. This was the most fun tour of all time.
Yeah.
And I think Daigle would say the same thing.
Yeah.
A little fun fact, one of the naughty crew guys was trying to smoke a little clove cigarette in the back, and Daigle thought someone had set the toilet on fire because someone had told us that the reason you can't poop on a bus is the gases build up and it could start a fire. So, sneaky crew guy smoking a cigarette in the back lounge resulted in like a pull off the interstate like you've never felt before. And
Never trust a crew guy.
yeah, and then some manager going up there going, I think the toilet's on fire. And it was all just because, all because someone was smoking a clove cigarette in the back. Hey, you know.
So, and you joined the tour because of being fun.
Well, yeah, she said she wanted someone that would be fun to be on tour. She didn't care who it was. She had never heard my music.
That's incredible.
And since then, we've become so close. I love Daigle so much. So proud of what she's been able to do. My gosh.
Yeah.
She's amazing.
The 1990s, Matt is looking at this right here.
This we found in the
man.
attic of the place.
Okay.
It was already marked out DC Dorks.
DC.
They did that, and then they marked out deaf and not, so it just said, deaf
Definitely.
dumb, which was awesome.
Man, that's got to be like 90s.
Yeah.
92, 93.
But now we don't know what to do with.
Yeah, that's a whole nother podcast. I'll maybe link to a video. I've got a buddy who's doing a video about that. I think it's actually bringing some good conversations to our music industry.
Oh, for sure.
This is the control room.
And my kids would love this.
Okay, so I love Squishmallows, and we talked about that. Did we talk about it on the pod? I've got 3 daughters.
Oh,
So these are all from my daughter's collections as they've grown up. So the 21-year-old doesn't need them anymore. I love them because they're so soft. Best cushions ever. Rupert Neve, 5088. This is, it's such a cool console. It sounds so good directly, like when we're tracking in here, it sounds like a record in here. These ATCs 45.
For the kids watching this is not AI. This is like analog.
Analog,
It's
it's,
made until a couple years ago.
If I had the money for a tape machine, or if any of your listeners want to donate a tape machine, I'd go all analog. Right now we have to dump it into Pro Tools, and we've got a great little rig there. I did win an award.
You were a big deal.
I got Grammy nominated, and they only gave me the phone. So, no, I did get Grammy nominated, and I got the phone from a buddy.
Okay.
Just to remind me, like, you still didn't win.
Well, and you talked about if people watching want to help. I mean, I know you got a Kickstarter going on right now,
currently we
but
do have a
that'll end
Kickstarter.
soon.
Yeah.
So, but going forward, what are ways?
Well, I mean, obviously, the whole goal of this place is to create a community of musicians that can support each other and be seen by each other. And we've talked about it a bunch. What do musicians care about? It's not money. If it was money, they'd do some other job. What they care about is being seen with their gift, sharing their gift with the world, with each other, like what happens when you play as a group. That's what people want, and that's why they do this job, even though it only pays $50 sometimes. So our goal is to create that community where people can be seen. People can, the stay-at-home mom has a place here to record her song to God.
Yeah.
She doesn't have to go on the road. We can put that song out.
Yeah.
Like, That's what we're after.
And then
real
if it has some
community.
success, that there's some financial viability instead of going, oh, I have to go away from my family for 3 months to be able to capitalize on the success.
Well, and because we're not keeping 85, we're not keeping any of it, actually. The label itself has 5 points at the end of the day.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all that we're keeping. Yeah. And we intend to do fun stuff with that. And it's a secret. We're not going to tell you yet.
Oh.
But it is fun.
Nice.
And points equals percentages.
Percentage.
Yeah.
And we're actually, 1 point is 1%. So that just to throw that out for the insider.
I was going to say it. I was like,
yeah.
I think my audience is smart, but that's just in case.
Yeah.
Percentages.
Well, oftentimes they'll just say points because it could be 1/4%.
Yeah.
And so you have 4 points and it's like,
that's very true.
Yeah. So they can say whatever. But this space is cool. It has a reverb chamber up there that goes all the way to the front of the building. So we can actually capture like chamber reverb while we're recording. And everyone can record at the same time, which is so unique because I'm used to people sending me like, hey, I need bass on this song. And it's like real drums, a scratch vocal, and nothing else. And they're like, recorded this. And I'm like, I'm alone in my room and I've got great drum sounds, but nothing else to work off of. Yeah. So it's just not inspirational. But here to like capture a sound with your friends, you're playing together. And even like in the back of your mind thinking like we're all, to quote Troy Bolton, we're all in this together. But yeah, it's just like one of those cool things where you're like, yeah, we're taking a risk together. We're diving in. We're creating together, like I was at 13, like in my garage band.
Oh, tell that. That one always moves me. How music used to chase you.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. You should just tell it.
No, it's so good. It makes me so happy.
Yeah. Well, okay. I mean, I'm 12 years old, 13 years old. I'm into rock bands and whatever, and started really loving guitar. And me and my friend started a band, It was just like, but it was like every moment of the day I felt like music pursued me. It was like, it was inevitable. It was going to happen. I was going to listen to the new Sum 41 record and get all of the guitar licks down and like learn them all. Simple Plan, I literally did that with one of their records. And so it was just like, I knew I was going to listen to it. I knew I was going to, it just chased me. Music pursued me. And then at some point along the way, I started to pursue music and I felt like the joy left. It was like, no longer do I feel like this is something that's a gift. It's become a burden. And I just had to like, after years and years of being in the industry and like touring and playing with different people and being on sessions and being around people who were jaded and people who had terrible advice for me as like a young guy in the industry, even had someone tell me to quit music. And it was just like, this all feels heavy and burdensome. But in this space, it was like, I started to feel like, he mentioned Hill City. It was kind of like I wanted to pursue that rock band feeling again, to where money had nothing to do with my decision making. Like I bought a bunch of tape players to duplicate tapes, and I was just, I loved making mixtapes and like doing all this stuff. So I was like, I want to pursue that. What is that? And then I felt music start to pursue me again. And so in this space, when we're together, like the rock band feeling of like, I don't know if this is going to hit number one. That's not even in my mind.
Who cares?
But yeah, who cares? It's this moment.
It's the process. It's the process.
And getting to play bass and guitar in a way that's like, I'm not trying to be the most marketable guitar player or the most marketable bass player, and I'm not trying to have to live up to my day rate of $500. And I know that guy's probably making more than me. And like, it's just like we're all doing the same thing and creating from a place that we like where we're at. So it's like, I can play whatever lick and I'm not like worried about, oh yeah, dude, that sucked. Like, it's like, no, that was cool. Let's build off of that. Or dude, what if you try something else there? That's like a cool spot, whatever. It's encouraging versus, trying to live up to this imaginary, competitive, weird.
That doesn't even exist.
Yeah.
Because what they're going to do is fix everything in post. Literally. You should hear some of my original vocals.
That's so good.
And I'll tell you this as a fact. Never once has my acoustic guitar been used. The one that I played live. They've always re-recorded.
Until now.
Until now, that's right.
Until now. Chris and I started a band. Well, it's less of a band and more of like a collective of friends. The Stay-at-Home Moms.
What's it called again? The collective. I'm going to link to it.
Good Things.
Good Things Collective.
Good Things Collective. Okay.
Yeah. So it's brand new, probably under 100 followers. So everyone who
Hey-o.
follows it now can say they're...
Early, you're going to hear it here first.
Yeah. We should do a little like, a little stream party,
We
listening
should
party.
do a listening party.
Yeah.
I did that a little bit last night. Did you see I
did.
stayed on late?
You did, yeah.
So tonight, again, your listeners won't care, but we went live. We've been going live every night this week.
On Instagram?
Yeah.
And last night, I showed a bunch of our songs and left it up. So you can go listen through a good portion.
Cool. What I love about all this is as we change the camera over here, but as we're entering into this AI world where you can literally type and create stuff, which is fun, but you're missing out on so much. Like, as God created us as creators, and we're just like, we're going to be isolated in our bedrooms making songs, and now you're like bringing back the art of creation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and you mentioned it earlier, the fact that like an artist puts out a song and now all of a sudden all their songs have to sound like that
Trapped
song.
into that sound, yeah.
Now that's crazy to me because as an artist, I go through different seasons of life. Sometimes I'm angry. Sometimes I'm sad. Sometimes I'm super pumped. Like, is all that not worship? Like, it feels so weird to trap people. In a place like this, we're saying, we don't care if it makes money. Make what you want to make. Make what God put in you. Let it out. Like God put a song in you. Let's get it out of you. Like, let's show it to everybody. As opposed to, well, that sounds like a good idea, but what if it was like a little sexier?
Well, you're not trying to pay back a loan with your money,
Right.
with your songs. Like, your songs are literally just what's in you. You don't have to be like, okay, I'm going to have to pay back $50,000
Right.
on a loan. So it has to fit a certain mold that's like marketable, and we know the trajectory, and we can project in front of our shareholders what it'll like. None of that exists
Well,
here.
and the label picks what songs they record.
Yeah, I've been a part of those meetings where it's like, is Caleb going to play this?
Yeah.
And, and that's why you'll have albums sometimes where there'll be a couple songs that are like, that doesn't sound like you. And then the rest is like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
You got a little more rock
that's
in you.
real.
But I mean, we kind of joke, like in the Christian radio world, change that guitar to a violin.
Oh, dude,
true.
playing the radio game is so hard.
Yeah.
I find zero joy in it. And I love radio people.
Totally.
They're awesome.
And they're reaching people.
And they are.
I'm hopefully going to interview.
And I love their hearts for like actually reaching people.
And they're able to reach into places that.
But the radio game sucks.
So let's talk about your cry room here.
All right, cry room.
This is where you,
Sorry, that amp is in there. You want me to go to the other
that's fine.
side?
There's an amp on
This
wheels.
is where you and the Lord kind of duke it out. And...
Yeah, so like for weeks, at least 6 weeks, I had the vision to sell my catalog, buy a studio, and make music with my friends. Yeah. But I'm kind of dumb. I don't know what I'm doing. I definitely felt by the power of Leroy Jenkins, I jumped into this.
Let's do this.
Let's do this. Chris McClarney. And just dove into it. Really, Jesse brought a lot of what I would call the structure to the machine that we're building. Machine, it's a community. And the heart behind it, and even our metric of success is not #1 hits.
Yeah.
It's not even playlisting. It's not like stream numbers. It's, are we building a community, and is the community healthy?
Yeah.
That's our metric of success. And to that, I feel like we're slaying. We have Bible study on Mondays.
I was going to ask you, metrics of success, and so that's good to
Like
hear.
our like the guys that play on these records, like the last worship night we had, the drummer, I remember I was coming back in to like joke or something, and he was weeping. He hadn't been able to just really play in so long that it was coming out of him.
Wow.
That's success. Yeah. One of the guys had not led worship in years. He led worship here, changed his heart and his mind about what God had for him. Mm-hmm. That's success. Who cares about streams? Yeah. They'll come. And my theory is that if the community is healthy, the music's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
It's going to come from a pure place.
Yeah.
And people, we were talking before we recorded about how today in society, our authenticity meters are really good. Like we know when it's coming authentically. Throw in the power of God, the Spirit of God, then you really got a winner on your hands.
Yeah.
Well, even like the Bible study we do on Mondays, the reason we even chose Mondays and Monday mornings is because we want like a thriving music community, and that's set in place by focusing on what matters, and to be in community with each other, praying for each other, hearing like, you know, from our super great friend CZ. He leads the Bible study, but he's not like preaching at us. He's like, yeah, let's talk. Let's open the scriptures. And what does this mean for us as a community?
Let's chop it up.
Chop it up, yeah. And dude, honestly, like salt was actually the thing we talked about
this week.
Yeah, this week. Nice. So it's fun.
Well, the reason I call it salty is like I want, you know, if you're not following the Lord, you're going to become a salty Christian in the back way. If you are, you can be salty.
Well, what good is salt if it loses its saltiness, bro? That's what we were going over.
Adding fun and joy. You know, when people are having fun and joy, like that's going to pour out.
What's flavor?
It is. Yeah. It's actually.
And the church has tried to take flavor out of a lot of things.
Or we try and make our flavor replicate the world.
Oh, yeah. If you like Rebecca St. John, or if you like Alanis Morissette, you're going to love.
When I became
Do
a
you
Christian,
like the Beastie Boys?
that was exactly. I was like in middle school when my family became Christian, and it was like going to one of those bookstores for the first time and being
and
like,
literal signs.
I'm trying to listen to Christian music. What should I do? And it's like, if you like Linkin Park, and I'm like, okay.
I like Linkin Park.
Yeah. It was
1,000-foot crutch.
It was 38th Parallel. Shout out.
Ooh.
They were,
I remember that.
Yeah, they were the
If you like the
suggestion.
Beastie Boys, check out DC Talk.
Well, speaking of DC Talk, so I'm a Christian music nerd.
Yeah,
so this building has some cool.
Yeah, so this was where all the goatee stuff was recorded. Mandisa, every Toby Mac record from 2000 till recently was here. It was all recorded here. He was doing vocals in my cry room. He was rejoicing. I was crying. So many. Who are some of the other artists that we found paraphernalia for around? It's amazing.
Is that Hawk Nelson?
Hawk Nelson,
I worked for their label.
Oh, that's amazing. Brian Fowler was in here for a season, and he actually won a couple of Grammys here. He's the one that gave me the empty phone.
That's awesome.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
It's just a nice reminder. Hey, speaking of Daigle, she's who I lost the Grammy to.
Oh, not a bad person to lose to.
No. We knew she was going to win anyway.
Yeah.
So the night before, I said, hey, Daigle, don't lump me in. Don't lump me in and be like, oh, what an honor. There were so many other good nominees. Don't lump me in. Say my name.
Say my name.
Say my name.
That's insane.
And she goes, okay, I'll do it. So she wins her award.
So was this Song of the Year? Album of the Year?
Album of the Year. Christian.
Okay.
Yeah. So she goes up, Questlove hands her the mic. She was running late. Basically, Questlove was like, Lauren Daigle. And she finally made her way up to the front. And
this is pre-show usually, Grammy.
Yeah, it's a pre-show. Yeah. And she goes, I want to thank the producer, I want to thank, whatever, and that's it. And it gets off. Questlove starts talking. Coming up next, she runs back out, yanks the mic out of his hand, and goes, and I love Chris McClarney. Best moment ever. I don't need to win the Grammy. Who cares?
I entertained the person who won the Grammy.
And that's why she invited you on tour.
Yeah. Just because it's fun.
That's amazing. Well, any other thoughts on what you guys got going here? Just, I think we covered a lot of it, but I'm gonna, link everything in the bottom here, and hopefully.
Yeah. The biggest way for you to kind of get the story, we're starting just now to organize the story in a way that we can present it from kind of an outsider's point of view, so that you can see the journey we've been on and see where we think we're headed. In doing that, what we've been doing is kind of unpacking it on our own on Instagram. Okay. So if you go back, there's like a 9-minute video where I pour out why I sold my catalog and what I think is wrong with the industry. And there's another 13-minute video where I use a piece of paper and break down what an actual deal looks like. And then he's gone in and talked from the musician side.
Mine are only like 90 seconds because I don't have that many followers. So.
Yeah, he's good at it.
Or you just get to the point quicker.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Now this is true.
I was going to say you should count how many minutes each person talked during the thing. And mine is always going to be like...
Yeah, I get excited and talk too much.
I love it.
I couldn't tell. Well, I just commend you guys. I think there's going to be some incredible stories coming out of this place of even artists who are currently, doing the thing, but your example of them coming here and just being able to worship and do something outside of what mainstream wants them to do. Yeah. It's a beautiful thing for them.
Tonight we're doing a worship night. We're not even recording it.
Yeah, we're just hanging.
We're just worshiping.
What a thought. What a thought.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll get completely worship concert, paying money. I've always wrestled with that. I get it. It costs money to put it all on, but I hear Rich Mullins in my head, and Keith Green and some of these guys. And
those are my heroes. Yeah. That's what we're trying to do. We want to be like Keith Green.
Yeah.
My first record when I made it, I just put it on a table outside of the church with the sign that said, pay whatever you want.
That's awesome.
In a box that was open. So people, I bet people took money sometimes. It doesn't bother me. That's the best. I wanted to be like Keith Green.
So one of the guests I just featured, actually, he's just a mile down from here. He works at Revelation Culture, and it's this home decor and just a beautiful artwork.
Well, you said they have a grave down there.
Yeah, they have the tomb,
cool.
Jesus' tomb. You can go there and pray. But one of the coolest stories I heard was he leaves it unlocked 24/7.
Wow.
And it's right by the county jail, I think county jail. And people, convicts are walking up and down, and he's like, well, if someone breaks in and they steal stuff, they're stealing God's word, stuff that's going to hopefully bring them to Jesus. He's got Bibles there and everything. And so, what a perspective to have.
Lifeway, I asked him how, this is back, we were on a trip with some Lifeway people, and I was just poking at him like you do. And I was like, what biggest thing stolen from your store? And I thought it was going to be decorative, live, laugh, love type stuff. And they said, 100% Bibles. I was like, what? Literally, people stole more Bibles than anything else from the Lifeway Christian bookstore.
Well, I've had friends who've had, I lived in Seattle, and there's break-ins all the time, and they'd have back in the day, you had CD collections.
Oh, yeah.
And, it was bummer, my DC Talk albums got stolen, but they're like, you just got a bunch of Christian music.
It's like regular music, but worse.
Oh my gosh. That's good.
Real quick, I see the signatures over here.
Yeah.
So this is for your Kickstarter. So
we're just starting to do these names. The goal is that this whole wall will be covered with names of people that are in this with us. And so every time someone records here, they're signing their name. Yeah. All of our Kickstarter givers, we're either going to sign their name, or if they're coming out here, we'll let them sign their own name.
I just feel philosophically, we're to know that people have our back. It's this is the people who believe in what we're doing, and we can walk in here, and we're never walking in here without community. So really the Kickstarter even was just to tell the story and be let's get this outside of these walls. Let's get everyone involved. Everyone's a part of this. And we really do want to open the door to people who aren't full-time, the stay-at-home moms. We had a guy, I can't wait to share his music, but he submitted a song to one of my websites that's just for, playlist submissions. And I listened to a bunch of songs, and when his song came on, I was like, man, this is good. Sent it to Chris, and Chris was like, are we going to call him? I'm like, what? But the dude is a physical therapist in Wisconsin. He's not a worship artist.
Yeah, well, you think about, you've got American Idol, one of the biggest shows. People don't watch TV anymore, but that's one thing that people do watch. But we love that underdog story. Think about how many voices are in the church that are now going to get a voice.
Yes.
Well, and think about how all of the songs we sing at church are basically coming from 3 places. Now, I love the songs. This isn't a knock on the songs. Yeah. What I'm saying is that our church is more diverse than that. Yeah. Our church is more diverse. We're aiming for Big C Church. In January, we had 20 different churches from around the U.S. represented here. The whole goal, write a song for your church. We'd match them with local songwriter that knows what they're doing, with the producer that knows how to make it sound good. And we got great songs for churches. And it's like, that's the goal. Let's elevate Big C Church. I'm not de-elevate some of these. I love Bethel and Elevation and Passion. I love them. They're my friends. They've recorded songs I've written. I love them, but just let's elevate Big C Church. There's more voices out there. And one of those voices might be in the middle of Wisconsin, could be in North Carolina, could be Kansas, anywhere really. And it's like, if we don't open up the door to these people, how are they ever going to find their way?
And what messages are we missing out from?
Yes,
that God's
exactly.
speaking to them?
Yes.
That's what I'm excited
Yes.
about. Is we're giving way more
He
voices to
gets
people.
Yeah, this guy gets it.
He gets it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the heart behind what we do. I mean, even hearing the songs that this dude in Wisconsin is writing, it's so fresh and it's so new and it's so needed, but
And different.
it's like
It's so good.
there's no metric for him. So our metric that is not like our metric for success does not equate to streams, money, fame, whatever. It's the heart behind it, the community. Like, so seeing him, it was like an obvious, like, hey, you want to come record some stuff with us? And he was like, what? Yeah, let's go. So he like came here and recorded here with us. And it's like, that's, he's a part of our community now. And
That's so cool.
yeah, I love it.
And people are going to freak out when they hear the songs.
Yeah, it's
we're
so good.
we're kind of underselling it right now.
Yeah.
It genuinely was like, we didn't know it was going to be this good. When we were on our way to pick him up at the airport, we were like, what if we get catfish? What if he's real bad? What if he's real good at auto-tune? And
He was an AI. It wasn't him.
no,
exactly.
it wasn't even him. No, this dude showed up real, genuine heart, real, like, worship leader. The authority he carried was so surprising for someone that doesn't even lead on a regular anywhere.
Yeah.
Homie carried all this authority. He's like, join me in worship. I was like, wow, God is up to something.
Yeah.
That's cool. All right. Any last thoughts? Otherwise, we'll just we'll cut it. I think.
Yeah.
Any funny? You get any more dad jokes?
So
Oh boy.
my wife was complaining. She said I had to quit acting like a flamingo. I had to put my foot down.
Oh God.
Come on.
I gotta get out of here. This feels so bad.
Give me that, but
Yeah.